It was a great feeling, sitting around through the draft. You don't know who's going to pick you, and it was in Montreal, the draft. So when I got picked by the Nordiques, it was a lot of booing, and so that was kind of different. But it was still a great, exciting time for myself and my family and everyone there that was there to support me. No, no, that's part of hockey, and I knew the rivalry, the Quebec-Montreal rivalry. I knew if I got picked by Quebec with that draft pick at the 18th overall, I knew that I was going to get some pretty heavy booze. Oh, it was awesome. I played one game coming out of junior on an emergency recall against Montreal. That was my first game in the NHL, which was pretty exciting. And then obviously I went back to junior after that one game because it was an emergency recall. But then when I turned pro and started the first 40 games, I guess it was in Halifax in the American League, and then got called up after that, it was it was the thrill of a lifetime to get there, play. Coaches tell you find a place to live. That's the big thing. If they tell you to get an apartment, you know you're on the team. So whenever they told me to get an apartment, it was pretty exciting. Yeah, I liked them. Yeah, Michelle was a great. Michelle Bergeron was awesome. John Perron was another coach. So they all good guys. Great to play for. They liked my style of play, which was very good. Well, I play, in junior I could score, fight, make plays, so I was kind of an all-around player. I like to be seen as. When you get to the American League, I was, I had some pretty good numbers in the American Hockey League and was able to get called up to Quebec. And then your roles changed a little bit in the NHL. The NHL is the top league in the world, and I wasn't scoring as much and playing on the top two lines, so I found a way to stay in the lineup. I got the odd fight here and there and play tough and play aggressive. Yeah, we had a tough team that year. A lot of tough guys. We weren't doing great in the standings, so there was trying to stay in the lineup and prove your points. So I had a few scraps, and guys like Darren Kimball, Tony Twist, myself. There's a lot of guys in those years that that was the way we played. They played hard and tough. They're a great group of guys. I love Michel Goulet, awesome teammate, and Peter Stastny, the Stastny brothers. Anton was there for a short time whenever I was in training camps as well. All those guys, Paul, you can go down the list, Paul Gillis, Michel Goulet, Alain Cote, you go down, Mario Marois, they're all unbelievable, great guys. Just love my time there with them. I used to run into some guys. I haven't talked to Michel Goulet in a little while. I used to run into him here and there, but you don't stay in touch as much anymore. But whenever you do talk to somebody, it's like you just saw him yesterday. I know you're going to see Ron Tugnut. I just talked to him a few weeks ago. He doesn't live far from me. Great guy, great teammate as well. So it's fun to catch up with guys when you do catch up and eventually see them. But everybody's all over the world now in the country, so it's hard to stay in touch. I do remember that game. Yeah. So I fought Rudy Poshek that day. Gordie Howe hat trick, a goal, fight, and assist. So Rudy and I became teammates later on. After that, we played together at one point, but tough man. But yeah, that was a great game to remember. I know you got the ticket of my first game. I played there coming out of junior with against the Canadians, and that was just a thrill of a lifetime. I can't remember what the score was that night. I think we might have lost 1-0 or 2-1 or something. It was a very close game, and just a thrill to play the Canadians in my first game. Well, it was a little bit in awe. I was playing junior in Sudbury and got the call up, so I had to get from Sudbury to Toronto and then Toronto to Quebec on flights and that, and then to be in the lineup that night against Montreal Canadiens was quite an awestruck thing with guys like Peter Stastny and Michel Goulet and all those guys in the lineup. It was amazing. Oh yeah, we laughed about it. Yeah, it was pretty even, but he might have got the upper hand on me. He's a tough character, but it was a decent fight, and he was likely in the category above me. He might have been. I wasn't a heavyweight type player. I was a middleweight kind of guy. Rudy was a heavyweight. He fought the big guys. Great memories. I wish they still had a team. They should have a team. The atmosphere in the building was always wonderful. The fans were great. We loved it. Loved living there. The players loved playing there. Loved living there. It was a great time. The weather wasn't the greatest all the time, but you know what? It was an awesome place to play hockey. And I went back with my son back years ago to the Quebec Pee Wee tournament. Just the memories of being back in the Colisée at that time was pretty special. So I loved my time there and wouldn't trade it in for anything.